And we live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. And I could tell you like this, I'm going to speak for me and Mrs. Best when I say we are not watching our mouths today. I am so sorry. It is not going to happen. But speaking of Mrs. Best, please subscribe to her channel. Her information is in my description box. Any reviews or recaps I do not cover on my channel. It's because we cover on her channel. We just got done doing Deb's House to finalize that show on her channel. They have put a hiatus on that show, so we don't know if that's coming back due to what happened with Dr. Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo.
It's coming on TV. They just pulled her episode.
Oh, from what I understood, went on hiatus, but okay, I must have read that wrong. Okay.
You definitely read it wrong.
Okay.
Bravo announced that the show is still going to go, but Wendy is not going to be. I mean, it's easy to pull her episode because it's wife swap.
Yep. So, but in speaking of which, say hey to Mrs. Best, y'all. She is here, gracing the presence for this really interesting reality TV show.
Hi. I thought I said hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome. Subscribe to the channel and like the video.
No, I spoke for you today because initially we both were triggered by this episode very much so. So I want to shout out to my girl Shani. She is in the chat. She is always here first, always here before we even get here. The irony of my channel being called Watch Your Mouth Reviews and I don't watch my mouth at all is what's so crazy. I have lived my life in irony so much. And I'm going to give you guys examples of that. I worked for Starbucks, never drank the coffee. I worked at a library, never checked out a book. I, work for Gatorade, never drink it. So, yeah, I am somebody that is just, I live through irony. I do things that I, in turns, would not do. So watch your mouth. I'm definitely not watching it. I just think it was a catchy catchphrase. Do you hear the light skipping in your video? The audio part?
It's probably your microphone. Sometimes it skips, but usually it figures.
Okay, but let me fix
it. Voice out entirely.
No, that's me playing with it because I gotta make sure. Because it might not be on the mic.
Hold on, y'all. I'm not using my camera. I have a 4K camera I use for videos. I'm not using mine right now because StreamYard would not work with it. That's why sometimes I'll be clear and other times you just get chocolate.
Okay, how's it sound now?
You sound fine to me. I don't know what they could hear.
Okay. Because I can't hear myself. The only way I can hear it.
Let me mute and go on YouTube.
Yeah, mute real quick. Before I start this video, I want to make sure I'm good because I don't want to make no points. Okay, so she's saying she's listening. Let me unplug this shit and plug it back in. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so Mrs. Best is going to check the audio real quick on my... Is it? Okay, is it skipping like she's saying that it is? Okay. So, now that Mrs. Best is confirmed. Okay, so Annie is saying it's better now. I unplugged it and replugged it back in. I messed with the settings a little bit. Sorry, y'all. Sometimes the microphone and StreamYard, they sometimes don't coincide well. So, unfortunately, I'm doing the best I can. I listen to my videos and I don't really hear it as much. So, like the Braxtons, y'all. So, you guys know that I covered the first 10 minutes of this episode in a updates video that I had did a couple of weeks back where we were talking about, the situation where Tamar got a cease and desist. A lot of people are alleging, and I'm going to say allegedly because no one has confirmed this. A lot of people are alleging that it was their brother, who is Ashley's father, that sent Tamar the cease and desist, or one of his people did. I don't know that to be true, and that's why I'm saying allegedly. But when we see this fight happen, we have Trina and Tawanda not saying much, and we have Tony being upset. It angers me a lot because these are what are actually to speak up, her to actually, say, especially understanding that this has happened to her as well. So when we think of the open montage season of episode where Tamar and her niece come face to face and they're sitting at a restaurant and everything, that's what's happening in my mind is the fact that they tried to silence her. We're not there yet. We still have a few weeks before we get to that episode. But the fact that we had to do a rewind and the fact that we now know that it could have been her father that's trying to silence her makes it a whole lot worse, because there's nothing worse than a parent trying to silence their child after the child was violated in some way. I find that very troubling, because unfortunately, I didn't come from that. If something happened to me, my mom was very vocal. If something happens to you, you better tell me. And my mom didn't care who she cut off. When it hear this young lady not be able to tell her story to a public, because remember, she came out on social media and told her story. So for Tamar to be the only one of her aunts and we don't know about Tracy, so I'm not going to speak for Tracy. Tracy could have, heard the story and comfort the niece in her own way. So we don't.
Tracy was there, and she used to also speak in the earlier seasons of Braxton Family Values about being close to them. I also remember seeing Tracy with the sisters when you remember when the rest of the sisters listened to Tawanda, which they should never do, and tried to strike out on the show for more money.
Right.
And it was just Tracy left. She brought some of the family around. So I feel like Tracy really was the glue to this family, God rest her soul, not just the siblings, but I think Tracy was the glue. And that's why I don't think this show should have came back on at all. Because if you guys know that Tracy was her father, kept the relationship with the father when none of them did, the mom, all the cousins, maintained her life in Maryland. Like, she was the glue. So I don't think Tracy, Tamar, or Tony would have just been okay with it. But after watching the season, I do think Tony probably led the charge and probably was the one to put the bug in the ear about a cease and desist.
Which is crazy, but we're just talking about the first 10 minutes. But yes, Tamar and her niece meet up. She lives in Spain. She does not live in the U.S. and has not lived in the U.S. for about a decade now. The last time she was in the U.S. was 5 years ago. Now, I'm unclear if 10 years ago that's when the situation happened. I don't know if that's when it happened, but the producers were asking Tamar, what made you, go after your niece to make sure she does it, because Tamar said very specifically when something happened to her, her family silenced her. And that silence turned into anger, where Tamar was making. So she's giving her niece opportunity to tell her story. And they asked Tamar, do you think your niece will ever have, the clarity that she needs, or the, situation of, I forgot the word they used. It was very vital. They asked her, do you think that she will have any type of clarity? And she said no. And it's because the way her family chose to handle it. And I agree with Tamar. Y'all, I am seeing it for Tamar right now. I'm sorry. I know she's extra. I know her aunt, family members that have had harm done by other family members or family members adjacent, and that includes marriage. You always be there for them because they need a voice. They need to know that someone is in their corner. Because what happens is they begin to isolate themselves, and isolation is not a healthy. Case in point, this lady decided to come on social media and share with the world what happened to her because she was not heard in her home. So it was very troubling to me to hear her story, hear everything that's going to happen. And Tamar was coaching her niece. Like, you're gonna say this on my podcast, but be ready because there's gonna be a lot of nays. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna doubt you. There's gonna be a lot of people that are going to support you. It's gonna be a mixed mass of everything. So I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for the story to come out because I just feel like this is going to be bad, no matter what. So before we move on to Tawanda and Trina, Mrs. Best, at this point of what Tamar's explaining and everything, how are you feeling, in this part of this episode?
Shame on every fucking person that allows their disdain and dislike of what you see Tamar doing on social media, on TV, get in the way of your anger and disdain toward the rest of the family that allowed the person who did this, which was Trina's husband, we now know, her ex, Gabe, not the current one, but y'all sat there and allowed that man to film, had him around other children within the family. I'm fucking disgusted with people watching the show who are more, no, we don't like Tamar. She's the problem because she's talking about this. Y'all, it's not that she's talking about it. The problem is that the family allowed it, covered it up, hid it, and then forced this child to feel like she was so on her own that she left the fucking country. Like, I'm disgusted with the family. But I applaud Tamar because she's given her a platform. You could tell that the relationship with Tamar and Ashley is actually legit. Tamar also spoke a lot in her confessional about Ashley's pain. She's like, she's had to lose her sister, that she had to leave the country, that she had to deal with this. Tamar gets it. The only way you can get it in the way that Tamar is getting it because she's not leading and talking to Ashley in a way that's just like, I'm supporting you because you're my niece. She's talking to her in a way because I'm supporting you because you're my niece and I also went through this in this family. She's the youngest. I'm sure she had to deal with some questionable gentlemen because her sisters don't choose good men, not one of them. Not fucking one. But yeah, I'm glad Tamar supported her. I'm disgusted with the rest of them. That's pretty much where I'm at.
Okay. So then we move on to Trina and Tawanda. From what we understand, because she could stop talking about it, which, I'm kind of that person too, so I'm not going to beat her down too hard for it. But Tawanda literally came downstairs with a bundt cake. Hi, Trina, I'm engaged. Trina, give me a drink. I'm engaged. Trina, you want a piece of cake? I'm engaged. Trina, do this because I'm engaged. I said, Tawanda, if you say that,
I would have been like, yes, sis, and it took you over a decade to get there. Shut up and put on a wig.
But anyway, so they're getting drinks and everything. And so Tawanda is really happy, which we're fine. But then the conversation starts. So she said, Trina, I need to talk to you. This is a sit-down conversation. And she said, Trina, like, how are you feeling with everything that has come out? And Trina, she's hurt. She's hurt by it because it is something that she did not think the niece was going to come out with and be a comfort. But she said that the niece's number has changed. And I'm just like, yeah.
Well, yeah, dumb bitch.
And she says that, and Trina says that she doesn't want to take away anyone's, perception of her being a victim because she is a victim. And this is when Tawanda says, and you're a victim too. And I said, oh, Tawanda. Y'all, a lot of the society, we're going to have to agree to disagree with this one because I'm sorry. Trina is not a victim in this. Trina constantly chose this man over and over and over again. We've seen them get divorced, get married, get divorced, get separated, and get married all up and through Braxton family values. That is not someone who is a victim. And I almost turned to TV off when Tawanda said that because that is very much a gaslighting statement against Ashley. Trina is not a victim. Because what would make Trina anyway okay with me is if she had left Gabe right after he did this and never turned away, never turned back to him, never did anything, and actually sent his ass to jail. That's what have made Trina okay in my book. She didn't do none of that.
For those who did not watch Braxton Family Values, Gabe was cheating on Trina left
I think another thing that makes me sad that Tawana said she was a victim too is that Trina is the adult in this situation, and that is her niece. And what was being said is that you're not safe in your aunt's care, is what we're saying here to Ashley. Is like you're not safe in your aunt's care, but we're gonna put you there anyway.
Defending this, you did not like that man when he was alive. Like Tawana really didn't seem to like any of her sister's dudes. If we think back for any of them, Tawanda also has small kids and is the closest one to Trina. You need to be talking to your babies about if they've had any discomfort when at Trina's house instead of trying to make her into a fucking victim. There's only one victim.
I just didn't like that. Child. Yeah, I did not like that she said that because I'm like, how is Trina a victim when she chose this man over and over again?
Trina is not a victim.
And they went on you.
She's not a victim.
Like, no, I'm sorry, we're not gonna play this.
Man was knocking Trina her psychological state, but she's not a victim. She's not. You knew that something happened to a kid that's underage. I don't have children, but I don't have to know people to find out that something is happening to a child and not do something. If any of the kids that my friends got come to me and it's like, Auntie Mimi, this has been happening and my mom is not listening and I'm scared. Hell, that might be the time y'all see Amina Herbert on the news for an Amber Alert. Because I'm gonna keep the child away from the bullshit, whatever it takes. But I feel like we all have the requirement to protect and be there. And 16 is still a kid.
No. Nasty. Still a kid. Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure out. Like it was hard for me to move through this scene and then to see Ashley. You can still see the hurt on her face. So you can still see that she's else. And I'm glad she's thriving. I'm glad that in Spain she's found a way to have success there, commercials, acting. I'm glad that she's able to do it all. I really am, because that's not everybody's story. You have people who get in positions like this, they turn to drugs, they turn to homelessness, they turn and isolate themselves and harm themselves. Some end up in institutions. Like, you have people who do crazy things because no one hurt them and there's moments of being violated. And so I'm proud to say that I'm, watching this, that, she deals with a daily struggle, but I'm glad that in her life, she was able to find peace and that she's going to stay in that peace, because not everybody does. People still get traumatized by things like this. So, and I'm sure she is traumatized, but y'all, that was crazy. That first 20 minutes of the Braxtons, I was like, wow.
Wanda trying to say, and Trina did not do anything. That's the problem right there.
None of y'all did anything. If we really
did not do anything. And now the niece is going to have to know that the family was not there for her. And after this show, the family is willing to take legal matters to silence her. So she's going to feel silenced. And then she's also going to feel like her aunts don't support her, since they're making the aunt that failed her into a victim. And Miss Evelyn is the real problem, as we all know. That's whose opinion I really want to hear, because Trina is acting in the way that Miss E did. And don't forget that Tamar says she experienced something in childhood, and it was handled in the same way that they're handling the situation with Ashley. So I do think that the way Trina is handling this is a learned behavior from their mom. I really, really do.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that too. But we're going to move on, you guys, because realistically, they only got into like the surface part of expressing what the issue is. They still did not name drop anybody in here. Like, so I still
Trina
have to
name
say
dropped it when
allegedly until she says
spoke
his
about it on
name.
the podcast with Tamar. She has spoke about it, so it has been confirmed that it was her spouse.
Oh, it has been confirmed? I haven't seen that podcast yet. So that's why I'm like, I should have watched it before, but I didn't have time, y'all. I'm busy. But you sent me a lot. So but anyways, y'all.
I'm informed.
Yes. So the next thing we're going to talk about, Tawanda is showing us her director and acting skills. We see a small scene with her, and it's just I tried to find that movie, y'all. I did. I tried to find that movie. I don't know if it's out yet. I don't know who's in it. I tried to find it on Tubi. I'm still looking for it. So if anyone has that plug, send it to me. I would love to see it. Mrs. Best does not feel the same way. So that's why, she off camera and muted.
I was actually taking a call.
I just play with you.
But I should have done it for that reason. No. Here's the thing. I have watched a couple of Tawanda's Tubi movies and one on Amazon. When my hair braider does my hair, she'll put on like Tubi or whatever the hell that we can find to watch. Tawanda can't act. I've never thought that she could. She has been on this acting thing since Braxton Family Values season 1. She was tired of being Tony's assistant with pigtails and wanted to spread her wings and be an actress.
Okay.
Just because we love to do something doesn't mean that we should. If she's going to be an actress, you're in Atlanta. I want to see you like trying out for better things. I'm not saying anything's wrong with Tubi. Some of I subscribe to Tubi, use Tubi myself. But the types of Tubi movies that Tawanda are doing, I'm talking predictable plots. Within the first 5 minutes of the movie, I should not be able to figure out how it's going to end. Separately from that, Tawanda's wigs on Tubi have also been questionable. I feel like she's low-key been typecasted as like a career woman or like the older auntie, like not the aunt, the great aunt type energy as well. I just don't feel like she's the strongest actor. And don't get me wrong, there are some, but Tawanda is not one of them. But I'm glad that she's able to do something that she enjoys. I am. I don't care for Tawanda, but I know she acting was important to her. But the directing,
yes,
girl, bye.
I'm one of those people that I would love to act as well. I've taken acting classes. I've definitely done it. But the thing about acting for me, and then directing is that it's a very fine line because, and that's even Tawanda said, it's hard to see yourself, as the act. I think that is a difficult thing to do, which is why I feel like if you are directing, you should just wear that hat versus wanting to be in it. But a lot of people, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, a lot of people do both because it's cheaper to do it versus hiring someone else and give them a salary. A lot of them do it because it's cheaper to do it that way, especially if it's something that you created. Yes, it's cheaper to play a part. Like if Fraternity Row ever gets picked up and they say, James, can you read for one of the parts? I'm going to do it because it's probably going to be cheaper for me to do it that way. And they probably not, and they're probably just going to pay me creator credit anyway. So yeah, but I'm definitely going to do it because I need myself to get done. So I'm not hating on it, but kudos to Tawanda. Glad she found an avenue. Glad she is, collecting a check. Glad she is banking marks.
But she went in Atlanta, if she wants to get into the acting, I want to see her do some acting classes because I've seen a couple, but she should not be on TV yet. She definitely needs to take some acting classes and focus just on that. But I just like seeing people who say they want to do something actually doing it years later. That's growth from the Tawanda we saw in the Pigtail season 1. But that is the only fucking nice thing I will say about this broad. I'm done.
Yes. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is Tamar. She is getting a BBL. Y'all, I'm not with
Tamar had me calling my friends that work in nurse spas. Like the beauty and working in healthcare. I have people on speed dial. I start calling people and Googling last night because I was texting James confused.
She did, y'all. And I'm like, and I'm halfway asleep trying to make notes and trying to listen to her, trying to watch Bell Collective, trying to do all kind of stuff. And she said, James, nurse practitioners can't give can't inject nothing to you. I'm just like, I said, I don't know.
My brain turned on watching that show for a second. I was like, do I have to file a grievance with the health plan on Tamar's behalf? Like, what is going on? I was in shit. My husband's like, just text James because he wanted to go to bed.
So wait, he didn't feel like hearing it. So yes, because I could be
17 years.
I could be dead asleep. This one will text me. I will wake all the way up and read that text message, and then I'll determine whether or not I need to respond because I'm asleep. This is the only person in the world that can wake me up out of my sleep. That and maybe my fiance needs to ask me a question, but her, I will wake up. So he wrong for that.
I don't sleep.
He wrong for that because I'll be knocked out and this one will text me and I'll wake right out that sleep and be like, what? That's crazy. That's funny as hell.
I'm cracking up. Okay.
That's funny. But Child Tamar had me hollering. She was screaming, and when I tell you she tried to leave them people and she left in the robe and left her damn purse up there. I said that's karma for you because the people that set up and prepped and everything, you gonna sit up there and try to leave. So Tamar walks her behind back up in there and kept asking about the needles. How many is it? And I think the nurse practitioner said that it's 28 needles that are gonna go into her. And I was like, oh, Tamar, is this really worth it? You can't eat no cornbread and do some squats. Like you really got to. Okay.
She was already thin. She's done the work. And the thing of it is, right, beautiful women.
Yeah, she's beautiful. All of them are beautiful.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like she's had a lot of success, and I feel like the more success she gets, the more pressure she feels to change her body. When part of what we loved about Tamar was her body, it worked. So it's sad to see her conform. Her boob job did look good, though. I noticed them titties when she was.
They look very natural. I was like, she got a breast done.
She had a good. I think her boob job was perfect. It wasn't too much for her body. Some people do too much. Brittany Cartwright. But I wish she didn't feel the need. And I'm African, and we be naturally gifted. I'm just the one that don't got it, and that's okay. That is okay. Like, it's okay to love the body that you have, because 28 needles going into my Donkey Kong. Oh no.
And them needles were a lot bigger than they were bigger than the nurse practitioner first had said. She was they're gonna be small needles that can't pop a balloon. I'm like, baby, those could pop balloons, several of them.
A tire.
Yes, like what are you talking about? Like, wow, like I just cannot imagine.
It looked painful. And then also that part in your butt. So
yes,
shots are gonna hurt more. Like any type of injection is gonna hurt 50 times more if you get it in your butt or on your thighs. Like, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm. It is gonna hurt. And I'm just like, oh, and then they kept going. Tamar was hollering, and then they finished. All this for I understand you women wanting to do this, but hey, if you like it, I love it. Is there anything else you want to add? Because I'm gonna move on because they really didn't talk about nothing in the scene. Okay, so we're gonna move on along, y'all. So the next thing we have is Tony. This was a nothing. This was a nothing scene. Like, I don't understand.
I'm not trying to be rude or hijack your live. Please don't. I'm sorry. I've always felt like Toni Braxton is the Braxton I cared about least for Braxton Family Values. Her name drew us to the show. Her personality pulled us to her sisters to keep watching it.
I will say this. I did not know Toni was paying alimony to Carrie. I did not know that.
Really? I feel like she talked about it once or twice before, only because when she went through all the public stuff with her income and bankruptcies,
you mean tell me
a couple times.
So was she paying him alimony then too?
Years ago, I believe when the show started, she was, and that's why they were surprised that she was so friendly with him, because he used to be around more. It's weird, like you're paying him alimony, but then she was also still kind of employing him in some ways. So I'm like, I would have went to the judge like, excuse me, he's still playing the guitar and doing this and that and getting a paycheck, and it comes from me. Why do I also have to pay him alimony? I would have went tried to get that shit.
First of all, I just filed for bankruptcy because that's when she filed for divorce, right? Right after she had to file for bankruptcy the second time, right?
Yeah.
Oh hell no.
She was divorced.
And then why is she still paying it? That was how long ago? It was almost 15 years ago. Why the hell are you still paying? Y'all weren't married that damn long.
Yeah, but if it's California.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot about. Was she married? Yes, she was. Oh,
she got married in California. Toni spends
Girl,
most of her time out.
No, there's no way. I would have filed. No, I would have filed something.
There's
because
stuff that she can file, but in California, it would be very hard to even get it picked up and not thrown out.
She could have delayed his alimony too, right?
Sometimes, but there's my cousin's a divorce attorney. Shout out to my cousin Johnny. But like sometimes you can, but if you delay it, there has to be like legit cause, and because there's so many celebrities and stuff out here, your travel schedule is not always going to be acknowledged.
Well, no, because I would think
always possible. Our court are a mess too.
She just started Braxton Family Values, and she had filed bankruptcy again. And at that time, they were divorcing, so I couldn't imagine. Damn! Oh my God. She
has income issues, though. It seems like every 10 years.
Yeah, I'm noticing that too.
I just don't think. So we know about the stuff that happened back in the day with LaFace Records and all that, but that was rectified, and we know that from like her movie, from Babyface, from all of that. So like since then, she's had income. Like Toni Braxton's had consistent income, and even without this show. So it doesn't make any sense.
Ain't no way hell. But Toni Braxton basically met up with, someone who was pitching her show that she wants to call alimony. I know that Toni Braxton got 2 Lifetime movie deals, which congratulations to her. So I don't know if this was going to be one of them. I don't know, but congrats to Toni. I'm glad that scene was 2 seconds. They edited it weird, and that was it. So congratulations, Toni, once again. I can't wait to see the Lifetime movies. Moving on. Trina meets up with Miss E and the voluptuous Miss E wig that she has to have on her head. She just parts it to the left instead of to the right, like she used to do back in Braxton Family Values. I want Miss E to change her hair because this wig.
I want Miss E to go off camera and just let her kids have the spotlight. She lived her life.
That would never happen.
I'm just gonna still say it though, because it's not fair to put your mama on the show and then expect.
Mama, you know what you're signing up for, right? You know, once you put your name on that contract, you know what you're doing, right? Okay. So if somebody talk about you, I can't help you. I'm sorry, that's me. I know that's wrong. I get that that's wrong. But my protection of my mother is to never put her on this camera. My mom is never coming on Watch Your Mouth Reviews. Not one time. She would not be on the show because the first person that go, I'm going ham. So I know not to do that. If I decide to get a reality TV show deal, my mom will not be able, it would be like Tia and Tamara. They never brought their mom on that show. Mm-hmm. So that's exactly how James is going to run it. Me and Mrs. Best get his contract. my mom's not going to be on the show. She's just not. I'm keeping my mom protected at all costs because my mom is my protection. She's not signed this contract. So if my mom's saying, no, James, I want to be on the show and stuff like that, mom, we realize what you're doing. I can't help you. So that's how I feel. Y'all can answer me if y'all won't, but that's how I feel. If my mama signed her name on a dotted line, she knows what she's signing up for. So we learned in this little segment between, Trina and Miss E that Tawanda is a analytical head case. Everything got to be perfect, and that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. We also learned that Trina is a real estate agent. Go figure. So I'm manifesting my own way back into real estate, and Trina is a real estate agent. It's given. I need 500 backup plans.
Vaughn's job.
What did Vaughn do for a living? I don't even remember.
I don't remember, but
wasn't he a commentator?
I don't remember.
In St. Louis. Let me Google that. What did
Trina's life is giving? I'm past reality TV and just want to live with my new husband.
No, it's given. She always got something new going on, and I'm trying to figure out. It's always like every season. Like first it was the bar chicks thing. Does she still have that restaurant? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me see. What does he do for a living? Because now I'm curious. Okay, so he does YouTube.
Oh, she doesn't have it no more. It says they're permanently closed.
I thought I read that. That's why I didn't say anything, because I thought I read that. All I'm seeing is YouTube. What did he do before that? Yeah, if y'all know what Vaughn did before that, put it in my comments, because I don't know what this man used to do. I thought he was a commentator of some kind, but I could be wrong and could be getting him mixed up with someone else. But yeah, Trina's a real estate agent. She already has sold a house not long having her real estate license. That actually happened to one of my counterparts who did real estate school with me. She sold a house 3 days after she got a real estate license because she went right to work. It took me 4 months. So it's one of those situations where if you put the work in, if you actually are motivated and sell and actually get your name on listings and try to do it. And also make sure for all you people who are looking into real estate, learn what a non-compete agreement is. They teach you in real estate classes now what it is, but back when I did it, they did not. So make sure you learn what that is and make sure you always have one and make sure it's notarized, because directly that's always your protection. Always your protection. So anything else you wanted to, say, because that's all they talked about was Tawanda getting married and Trina is now a real estate agent.
WeTV does this sometimes. I don't like it. I watch a lot of WeTV. The scene was too long. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it was because, Tony's scene didn't make sense. And this scene was like, okay, Trina's a real estate agent. That's all I got out of it. So, hey. But the next thing we're going to talk about is Tamar's podcast. This is, she's doing a live podcast. I think this is season 2. She has her friend James, who we all know James. He's always with Tamar. He was even in Braxton Family Values. And she has also her co-host. I think her name was Jazz, something like that. They always talk about mental health and everything on the podcast. I haven't listened to the podcast, so I don't know. Hold on, y'all. I got to sneeze real quick. Give me 1 second. Faked me out. Sorry, y'all. But she has Ashley there. They're praying and everything. And, it seems like it's very well put together as far as the production stage goes and everything. I know this isn't the everyday setup for that, but for it to be a live show, I liked how intimate it was. I loved, Tamar's positivity. She's, trying to make sure everything is known. She introduces Ashley to the viewing public that is watching this, the audience. And she tells Ashley, this is your moment. Tell your story. And then the episode goes off. Underwhelming. Overrated. I get Tracy as an element that is missing from this. I understand that completely, but at the same time, this was a horrible premiere episode. And not saying horrible as the content isn't there, because it is there. It's just poorly executed.
I think that also the problem is, as much as I want to blame it on the network worked with what they were given. I think that Tawanda, Trina, and Miss E do not realize that they are not bigger than the program. And they are the ones who bored me. Tony's scene didn't make sense, but I give her a pass because she's booked and busy and can only do so much with the lupus. Tamar provides entertainment. Ashley's ready to sing like a canary, so I'm here for you, girl. But Trina and Tawanda, separate from the scandal of Ashley this season, or them trying to attack and use Tracy's son and husband for storyline last season, they have nothing. I mean, if anybody cares about Tawanda's wedding or is excited to see that filmed or to see the planning, please let me know. Please let me know. Because we've seen so many weddings on TV. This isn't even about my disdain for Tawanda. We've seen so many weddings on TV. Hell, WeTV had a whole season about weddings, a show, The Bridezillas. But like Tawanda marrying this guy that didn't even care to propose until she was back on TV. Now suddenly you're rushing into a wedding, but you took like over a decade for the engagement. So I'm just kind of like not that excited for it, you know? I get that you're the only sister that didn't have a wedding, but you're also the only one that I think we would just prefer to see on Tubi. But I think they're boring and it's going to remain that way. And when Tawanda and Trina are not boring, they're messy, and a lot of what they did felt like pre-planned and rehearsed.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't
Absolutely
genuine like it was back in the day. It felt like they're just trying to keep up with what they did back in the day. Yeah,
I agree, but I need better. I do. I'm not interested in Tawanda's wedding. Congratulations, and I hope that everything works well with that. And Tamar's carrying the show, because the only thing that was entertaining with her scenes.
that's why they don't like her. That's literally why they don't like her. The sisters, like, because she gives us entertainment. Tamar can entertain us without throwing the sister under the bus. Tamar can entertain us without throwing a family member under the bus. The only time that they can entertain us is when they're picking on Tamar or talking about the spouses and family drama. So it's just because you have a family full of talented people doesn't mean you have a family full of stars. I think the two that were chosen were chosen.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Tamar could have a show without them?
Yeah, she did it before. She's done it before. Tamar went on Big Brother, won. Then Tamar had her spinoff with her husband and had higher views than BFV. Then Tamar is now hosting the MTV show, the Caught in the Act, one of them Caught in the Act shows that people like. Then in addition to that, she's got her podcast. She's relevant on social media, even though she's problematic. She may annoy the hell out of us, but her annoying the hell out of us is keeping her career going. So she can have her own show, because the more problematic you are, the more entertaining you are. It's a fact.
Agreed. Okay. Alrighty, y'all. But that was it. That was the Braxtons. I will keep up with the show. Sorry if it was dead or dull. That's how the episode was. But we are going to switch transitions over to Bell Collective. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will be doing this show amongst a whole slew of shows. I have Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I have Bell Collective. I have the Braxtons. I'm missing a show somewhere. I know that I am, but it will come to me in the due time. But thank you guys for being here once again. Oh, did I say Real Housewives of Potomac? I did. Okay. Dang, I'm trying to figure out the show that I'm missing that I know that I have, but that's okay. I will see you guys on my next live recap of Bell Collective, and then I'm going to let you go for today. You guys know you are loved. Regardless of what anyone tells you, you are loved. And that's what I want the message to be on this very dark and dull show. Have a great one, y'all, and I'll see you on my next live. Bye-bye.